Hey, I'm Jesse. Let's have another devotion. We're in the book of Ruth, and in our devotions, I'm trying to show you deeper roots in the Old Testament that serve as the backdrop to the narrative. Here's Leviticus chapter 20, and it has God's take on Molech worship. Molech worship is relevant to this story because that's where Orpah and Ruth lived. That's where Elimelech took his wife Naomi and his sons Machlon and Chilion from Bethlehem to go to Moab, where they worshipped Molech. Here's Leviticus chapter 20. The Lord spoke to Moses. This is the chapter immediately following, by the way, the prescription for the care, the resident alien and the widow, those who would glean in the fields after the harvesters, and to see to it that young female servants were not taken advantage of sexually in chapter 19. Here's the very next chapter. The Lord spoke to Moses, say to the Israelites, any Israelite or alien residing in Israel, that would be Ruth, who gives any of his children to Molech must be put to death. The people of the country are to stone him. I will turn against that man and cut him off from his people because he gave his offspring to Molech, defiling my sanctuary and profaning my holy name. But if the people of the country look the other way when that man gives any of his children to Molech and do not put him to death, then I will turn against that man and his family and cut off from their people both him and all who follow him in prostituting themselves with Molech. Whoever turns to mediums or spiritists and prostitutes himself with them, I will turn against that person and cut him off from his people. Consecrate yourselves and be holy, for I am the Lord your God. Keep my statutes and do them. I am the Lord who sets you apart. There were these massive metal structures, these furnaces shapen in a figure with arms outstretched, and the flames would be fed through the opening that's here, and a child would be laid across the scalding molten hot arms of the idol, and there the child would die in fire. This was how Molech was worshipped. And God prescribed that those who do this to their children would have it done to them. It's this Molech and Chemosh worship that began to infect the people of Israel. And it wouldn't be until later on in an era of the kings where there was this king who finally turned the area outside of Jerusalem, the valley of the son of Hinnom, into Gehenna, into this dumpster. And he was trying to get rid of these acts of worship where these people were killing their children in fire. And the belief was, I'll have a better life if I do this. Now, that's not unlike modern day abortion. I'll have a better life if I sacrifice my child. Yeah, but Jesse, you don't have a uterus, so you're not entitled to an opinion. My genitalia have nothing to do with this issue, and it has no bearing, at all on the truth of the matter that it's prima facie morally wrong to kill an innocent member of the human species, and that is exactly who babies are. You know this. It's always been wrong, and God hates this practice. He has hated this practice. The way he deterred people from worshiping Chemosh and Molech in Leviticus chapter 20 was to say, I'm going to do to you what you do to your kids. And so, would you still be pro-choice if what you do to your children were to be done to you? The answer is no. This was God's heart toward ancient Molech worship, and this is God's heart toward abortion today. In fact, that whole scene, that whole dumpster fire scene, quite literally, is where God and his prophets get the imagery for hell. That Topheth, that valley of the son of Hinnom, Gehenna, where, there was this burning. That's where we get the burning imagery of hell itself. It came from child sacrifice. And that was the backdrop from which Ruth repented. So God cared for Ruth through the prescriptions of Leviticus 19. And then we see what would have happened to Ruth in Leviticus chapter 20. My pro-choice friend, would you, like Ruth, repent today and be saved? Ruth was a Molech worshiper, but instead she turned from her sin and she told Naomi, your God will be my God. Your people will be my people. She was a worshiper of Chemosh, fully within the crosshairs of the wrath of God as prescribed right here in Leviticus chapter 20. But today, she's included in the genealogy of Jesus. There's beautiful redemption for absolutely anybody. Would you repent from your sin today? Would you pray and give your life to Jesus? And let us know at jessecampbellministries.com. When you do, we want you to come join us at the Redemption Church, or we want to help you find a church in your hometown.